Bible prophecy is active and unfolding daily. Zechariah 12, Isaiah 17, Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38. Here is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. Revolutionary Guards Brigadier General Mohammed Ali Asudi said on Wednesday that Washington officials' boastful remarks about their ability to attack Iran has become a joke among Iranian commanders. Quote, "We should thank Obama for refreshing us by referring to his options on the table, including the military one. We just relax and laugh at such ridiculous words." Close quote. Haaretz reported that Iran is behind recent attempts to carry out terror attacks against Israel in the Golan Heights, according to a senior IDF officer who said, quote, "It's clear that Iran is behind all the terror attacks here in the Golan in the past 2 years. The Iranians are using the border. They establish units to carry out the attacks." Close quote. Iran has its chest puffed up and is laughing at the weakness of the West, my friends. And you know that means that they are on a fast track to use nuclear force as soon as they possibly can. Turning to wars and rumors of wars, Tuesday, August 11th, Israel's Channel 10 TV reported the Israel Defense Forces confirmation that a good number of terror tunnels have been dug by Hamas under the border into Israel, including one in the area of the Karim Shalom border crossing. Israel has troops, quote, "working around the clock," close quote, to grapple with the threat, and Iran has supplied major assistance to the Hamas war effort, including cash, military training for Hamas fighters, weaponry, and electronic equipment, including for use against Israeli drones. Jerusalem Post reported that one day after the Israel Security Agency made public that it arrested a Hamas activist who revealed the group's new tunnel building towards Israel, a senior source in the IDF's Gaza division said the IDF is ready for any scenario to protect the Gaza border communities. The arrest of Hamas fighter Ibrahim Sha'ir provided a detailed intelligence picture of the preparations being made by Hamas ahead of the next round of fighting with Israel. The funds, weapons, and training reaching Hamas from Iran underline that at least some of the funds Iran will receive after the sanctions against it are lifted will be used to wreak havoc in Israel. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported on Tuesday that the Islamic State failed in an attempt to occupy the Quercus military airbase in the Syrian northern province of Aleppo, leaving 26 militants dead. The attack took place on Sunday, August 9th, when ISIS blew up 3 vehicles targeting airport walls before the Syrian army repelled the assault. Then on Wednesday, August 12th, the Wall Street Journal reported that Islamic State militants likely used mustard gas against Kurdish forces in Iraq last week. The officials said the Islamic State could have obtained the mustard agent in Syria, though it is possible it came from old stockpiles that belonged to Saddam Hussein in Iraq. The attack took place on Wednesday, about 40 miles southwest of Erbil. Iraqi officials say Islamic State militants have ambushed a military convoy in the country's western Anbar province, killing at least 14 soldiers. The officials, a military officer and a police officer, say numerous roadside bombs targeted a military convoy Wednesday morning as it was traveling on a highway outside the Islamic State-held city of Ramadi. They say that the attack in Khabaz area, about 170 kilometers west of Ramadi, also wounded 10 soldiers. Then on Thursday, August 13th, Syrian rebels launched a deadly rocket attack on Latakia, the coastal heartland of President Bashar al-Assad. 2 people were killed and 14 injured in the attack, which hit Latakia's city center and waterfront. Forces battling for control of 3 Syrian towns were observing a temporary ceasefire on Thursday after a push by Iran to explore diplomatic solutions to end Syria's civil war. The truce was a product of talks in Turkey between Iranian officials and Ahrar al-Sham, a Syrian rebel group. Iran negotiated on behalf of President Bashar al-Assad's government. Quote, "These negotiations with Iran show that the Iranians are calling the shots 100% in Syria," said former Syrian diplomat Bassam Barabandi. The diplomatic initiative reflects fatigue among Assad's allies in the 4-year-old conflict. It also may reflect a growing recognition by Hezbollah and Iran that Syria's rebels cannot be defeated militarily, and, in particular, that Hezbollah cannot sustain its engagement in Syria indefinitely. Then on Friday, August 14th, the Palestinian Authority has dedicated a city square in Nablus to the memory of a terrorist murderer responsible for the deaths of Israeli civilians. The square was named after the Nablus commander of Fatah's Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades, Naif Abu Sharah, who was involved in many terror attacks, including a double suicide bombing in Tel Aviv on January 5, 2003, which killed 23 people and injured dozens more. The monument in the square is shaped as a map of Palestine, so-called, which, by the way, includes all of Israel. And on Friday evening, a gas station was set on fire on Route 60 near Ely in the West Bank. Then on Saturday, August 15th, an Israeli border policeman was stabbed in the back by a Palestinian man near the West Bank village of Hawara. Troops at the scene killed the attacker. Earlier on Saturday, a Palestinian man stabbed an IDF soldier at a checkpoint on Route 443, a central highway connecting Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. The attacker was shot and wounded. Then on Sunday, August 16th, the New York Times reported that government airstrikes on a rebel-held suburb of Damascus killed more than 80 people and wounded about 200. Residents said the attack struck a crowded market area in Douma, a city that's been out of government control for years and is now a stronghold for the Islam Army. In my video presentation last Thursday, I did a sit-down with my YouTube friends and talked about changing world conditions and lifestyles. If you haven't watched it, please check it out. You'll see this graphic at the end of today's newscast. You can click on that, or you can click the text link in the More Info section beneath this video. Also, in the More Info section beneath this video, you'll see links to my videos titled The Rapture and the Seventh Shmittah of 2014-2015, and another titled Yom Teruah. Please check these out because September opens a door in history that is likely to be very significant for all of us. Bible prophecy points at September being the beginning of great judgment on the earth, and already there's much talk about a very serious worldwide financial collapse. And if that happens, as the experts are now projecting, life as we know it is going to change very quickly and very drastically, my friends. If you feel scared or worried or greatly troubled about what's going on in the world today, there's no need for you to feel that way unless you do not have a relationship with our Creator, Elohim. That is to say, if you're not making Elohim number one on a list of one in your life, you certainly should be scared and troubled about the changes that we see coming towards us. But if you are making Elohim number one on a list of one in your life, then you have nothing at all to be concerned about, because you can trust Him beyond the shadow of any doubt to keep you from the troubles that are about to come upon the whole world. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I strongly urge you, go back to my video titled Having the Mind of Christ. You'll see a link to that also in the More Info section beneath this video. It was published back in October of 2013. Watch that and every word study video I've made since then. Just go to my channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/WatchAlan, A-L-A-N. Then click on the tab that says Videos and scroll down. Keep scrolling down until you see that one. Right-click on it so it opens in a new window. When you're done, close that window, and then just work to the left and up and watch my word study videos. They will keep you in His Word, and that will renew your mind and your way of thinking, leading you into a strong relationship with Him, Yahweh, Abba Father, and His beloved Son, Yahshua, and His indwelling presence, His Ruach, His Spirit. Everything in this world will only and always let you down. Elohim will never let you down. How do you learn to trust Him? You have to get to know Him. How do you get to know Him? Simply by being in His Word. The more you spend time studying His Word, the more you get to know Him. And the more you get to know Him, the more you will come to trust Him. And the more you come to trust Him, the more you will see that you absolutely can. He never lets His children down. So, in this past week, we saw that Iran has its chest puffed up and is laughing at the weakness of the West as it eagerly continues to promote terrorism in the Golan Heights, as well as producing numerous terror tunnels through Hamas under the border into Israel. ISIS is using mustard gas against Kurdish forces in Iraq, and they've ambushed a military convoy in the country's western Anbar province, killing at least 14 soldiers. Syrian rebels launched a deadly rocket attack on Latakia, the coastal heartland of President Bashar al-Assad, and negotiations with Iran show that the Iranians are calling the shots 100% throughout Syria. The Palestinian Authority has dedicated a city square in Nablus to the memory of a terrorist murderer responsible for the deaths of Israeli civilians. A gas station was set on fire, a Palestinian man stabbed an IDF soldier at a checkpoint, and an Israeli border policeman was stabbed in the back by a Palestinian man in the West Bank. Government airstrikes near Damascus killed more than 80 people and wounded about 200. And the world is about to experience serious judgment from Elohim as the 7th Shmittah closes its door in September. And that, my friends, is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Until then, stay safe. Shalom.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me, simply because we matter.